All right, let's welcome in the next member of our panel right here, Mark Pankratz. We got football encroaching into your basketball season.
It's all right.
I appreciate
I'm all in. I'm ready.
It's still a bracket. A bracket's
right.
a bracket.
That's right.
I appreciate you coming in and putting up with us. We got another contest hint, so let's do this. Let's do the contest hint number 3. Again, be the first person to send the correct first and last name of our mystery VFL to sportsourcecontest@gmail.com. All right, hint number 3. This Ohio-born Vol led Tennessee in receptions for 3 consecutive seasons. So that's led them in receptions for 3 consecutive seasons. That's caught 11 games in a Tennessee Bowl win. That is also played in Tennessee's first ever game against a Big Ten member institution. We got one more hint to give away. Then we'll give you the answer. Then I'm going to go back and check and see who sent me the right answer first. You can win 2 tickets to the Tennessee-Ohio State game. All right, Mark. Tennessee goes on the road at Illinois. They're already off to the best start in school history, 9-0. They're ranked number 1 in the country. They didn't play great against Miami at Madison Square Garden, but they still won big. They go to Illinois. It's college basketball. That's one of those games where, you can see a number 1 team get knocked off. That's a tough environment. You didn't play great, but you had people step up and you had some great defense. Tell us about the Vols win at Illinois.
Well, going into the game with the number 1 ranking in the country, I didn't think we were number 1 in the country. I think we've got some talented guys, but you go on the road and the guys don't play well, top guys out, foul trouble, but you have 6 turnovers on the road. You hold the team to minimal offensive rebounds. You get a bunch of offensive rebounds. Your defense carries. That's the type of game that wins in the NCAA tournament. There's going to be times where we don't make shots, guys get in foul trouble, offense doesn't carry, but that defense, that culture, that's number 1 in the country right there. There's not been many wins that we've seen in the program the last handful of years that I've been as fired up about the statement that program made.
Same way, yeah.
That was a big-time win in a tough environment with a lot of things going against you.
And the guy you had step up, Jordan Gainey, and he didn't just step up for part of that game. He stepped up at the start and went all the way through, right down to the final horn. Talk to me about Jordan Gainey's performance last night.
Deservedly so. Made big shots. He makes the game winner, so he gets all the publication. But, Igor rebounding.
Yeah.
You got Stone, who made big shots down the stretch, had a big block. Even Boswell comes in and makes a big-time play. So many guys stepped up in that game to be able to win that one. Gainey obviously made big shots. Didn't turn the ball over when we talked all year about who's the backup point guard. He didn't have 1 turnover, but a lot of guys stepped up down the stretch.
Paige Tyler, your thoughts on Tennessee's win last night at Illinois?
Well, for one, I wasn't expecting it to be this close, trailing, tying, and what it looked like at halftime. But what happened in the final 6 or so minutes of the game, I think really taught us a lot about this team, right? You only had about 5 points that weren't free throws in the final 6 minutes with Igor Milicic and Jordan Gainey before his layup to walk it off against Illinois. And I really like what I saw from Jordan Gainey, and I think Kate Phillips said it perfectly, that he's the best 6th man in the country. Anywhere else, he's a part of the starting 5. And he's like, you had to think as an opposing team, it hurts your heart when you see Jordan Gainey come into the game.
He's the guy.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think everything he's done this season, he deserved that moment, and I think it just shows you the toughness of this team. And the lineup they had in the second half is something you probably wouldn't have expected coming into the game, and I just think that shows you the talent they have on the team.
3 things I took away. The first one was a massive one. We keep talking about how they only have 9 scholarship athletes right now. If there was ever a tight whistle in a game, I thought Tennessee was doomed. And you had Illinois in the bonus with 10 minutes to go in the second half, and you found a way to survive that game. You don't see Zakai get dinged so quickly where he's sitting the bench, if often you ever see that man foul out. This isn't a testament to the officials, but Tennessee found a way to battle and win in a tough environment. Second half, how many times they turn over the basketball, Tennessee? 0 times in the second half. And on top of all this, you also found out what Igor Milicic's best part of his game is. He led the country last year. Not only did he lead Conference USA, top 3 in all of college basketball in offensive rebounds per game. He either eliminates second chance points or gives you an opportunity for second chance points. And a hostile environment, you took care of the basketball, you survived the fouls, and you had a guy keep you in the game and from a transfer portal baby that you grabbed in Igor. Check, check, check. I thought Tennessee found a way to survive as the number 1 team.
Mark, I'm a huge fan of Igor Milicic. I was Madison Square Garden earlier this week for that game, and a buddy there with me. It was like, man, Chaz Linear's fantastic. I said, yeah, he is. He's a great scorer. But this Milicic guy, he can pop it from outside.
Yes.
He can rebound. He's also got great vision. I mean, as a passer, he sees some things out there like a point guard. You can tell he is a coach's kid that grew up in a gymnasium his whole life. talk about Igor Milicic and what he's brought to this team, because Lanier, as the scorer, gets all of the praise, and rightfully so. He gets a lot of great accolades. But Milicic does so many different things.
Yeah.
He's so versatile. He makes you much more dangerous as a team.
We're already a great defensive team, but then you add his ability in there to switch ball screens. Even Stone, I mean, his ability to get out there and switch ball screens. And then if they do get mismatched, they can keep a guy in front. They can compete on the inside. He missed a bunch of open shots last night, but he finds ways to impact the game in other areas. He is a huge difference maker in this team.
And we've talked about this with you many times. Somebody's not hitting those shots, their offense goes south. What normally goes with it? The defense. That's kind of a Rick Barnes thing. They don't see that a lot at Tennessee. Typically, their offense goes bad. He's still on them. They still get their defense. Held Illinois to 29% from the field last night. I think, 17% from three? Now, part of that, you know me, part of that's just you're cold on the wrong night. But the way Tennessee forced some turnovers down the stretch when they needed them, I just thought it was an all-around win. And I'm like you. I thought, to me, that's their most impressive win so far this season.
And real quick, the other thing that I continue to be surprised about is Barnes' willingness to adapt. You saw that Gainey was his scoring punch, and what did he do? He started running Gainey off of pin downs, off of screening action, moving him around, which is different than if he's running his normal offense. Years past, people have always talked about Barnes' unwillingness to adapt, especially on the offensive end. He continues to do that with Gainey, with Igor, and the guys that are playing for him.
The last 2 years, the difference between that team 3 years ago and what we've seen the last 2 years is night and day. Somebody texted me this morning, was talking about Rick Barnes. They said, okay, I've come around. He is now your best coach ever. This guy was a Ray Mears fan, and he finally caved and said, it's Barnes. Because of the fact that he's adapted his team. And not only that, I keep going back to the fact at his age, it's him and Tom Izzo. Everybody else is walking away. We don't need the NIL crap. I don't need the portal crap. I'm too old to be reworking my roster every year. And Rick Barnes just goes on and on and on.
And then
Belichick, incredibly impressive.
And then Belichick said, "Hold my beer. I'm going to get back into it somewhere."
I bet he doesn't have the success Rick Barnes has had.
I want to make this statement again because, again, we always view college basketball teams' success based on how far they go in March. Even if Tennessee basketball this year doesn't get back to the Elite Eight, it needs to be known, and I think the proof will be in the pudding at the end of the season. This will be Rick Barnes' best rostered team put together. I'm telling you, when it's all said and done. Let me put it like this. Dalton Knecht is the best scorer he's probably had. Chaz Lanier will be the best basketball player that he's had, if that makes any sense. I don't like the comparisons already because, he's your big guy that's someone they're having to replace your scoring. But from what they were able to do from Okpara, from Stone, to what they're able to do with Milicic and as well as Chaz Lanier, this team will be a complete team. And I know last year I was flirting with Final Four. Again, I don't see them there because I don't think, as you already put, John, they are the best team in college basketball, or which you've made a comment this morning, Mark. But Tennessee, from a complete start to finish, this will be Rick's best team. You wait and see.
All right, I do want to throw out one other note here. The Lady Vols yesterday, 139 points with an NCAA record for three-pointers. Tremendous start for Kim Caldwell. And just, like we said on this show before they hired her, we threw out names of people to watch for. Threw out her name because she plays that wild, up-tempo, run-and-gun system, and Danny White, that is the mark. If you want to find who he hires people with their own system that sells tickets, and also it's kind of a money ball thing. I don't just have to out-recruit you. And it looks like Kim Caldwell is going to be yet another hit on Danny White's resume of finding good coaches. All right, when we come back, Mark's going to stick with us. We got another hint to give away. The contest is drawing to a close, folks, if you want those tickets to Columbus. So come on back, and we're going to talk about the SEC race. Where does Tennessee rank among the contenders in the league? I may rank them higher after last night. Come on back.